Sometimes plans don't go according to plan, and that's exactly what happened today. Things were off to a really rough start, or, I guess rough is a little bit too strong a thing to say. It was off to a weird start today, but as it turned out, that actually gave me the opportunity to hang out with a few people that I just met along the way, and it was a really great way to start my day. So, started off a little rough, but things are looking up, and now I'm hanging out with you, so what more could I ask for? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to one of my favorite areas here at Walt Disney World, the Epcot area resorts. We're just between Beach Club and Boardwalk now, and we are gonna bounce all over the place because I have a mission and you're coming along. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. So I suppose I should start off by telling you why things were off to a rough start today. It all started over at Hollywood Studios. Now, whenever I want to explore the resorts, I choose to park at Hollywood Studios because I just feel like it's the best parking situation. You also have access to the boats as well as the Skyliner and of course Disney buses, which makes it really easy to get around. Now, my plan to start off our day, which I realize I haven't told you what we're doing yet, but we gotta go through the whole story here, right? Obviously. My plan was to start my day off here at the boardwalk, and I was going to take the boat. There are a few different ways you can get here to the boardwalk from Hollywood Studios. You can also walk. I love that walk, but it's a little toasty today and I have a lot that I want to do. Like, we've got a lot of steps we're putting in today, so I figure we're gonna try and pace ourselves. You can also take the Skyliner, but we'll get back to that here in a bit. I wanted to take the boat because I thought it was gonna be just the best option. It's not an option I take all that often, but it's a good one. It gets you where you want to be pretty quickly, especially first thing in the morning. You don't have a lot of other people on the boat, so it can be a nice relaxing ride. But this is where it gets weird. And look, I'm going to try and summarize this really briefly because we have other better things to do with our day. But I do think that some of you need to know about this because you need to know that this can happen. Anyway, so I'm standing on the ramp to get to the boat, right? And the cast members, they don't acknowledge me at all. They just take off. They leave. But I also noticed that a couple gets off that boat and back in line. And I'm like, huh, weird. But things happen. Anyway, they ask me where I'm headed and I tell them I'm making my way to Boardwalk. They say they're making their way to Epcot, which is confusing to me because the boat goes to Epcot. But here's where it gets interesting, okay? According to the boat captain, this boat does not go to Epcot. It only goes from the Yacht and Beach Club to Hollywood Studios. And they were told that they need to get on the next boat so that they can get back to the Yacht and Beach Club so that they can get on another boat that will take them to Epcot. That's a lot of extra steps for absolutely no reason. So I mentioned that that was weird and told them that there were some other options, including the Skyliner, which was just a short walk from the boat ramp. And they were like, I wanted to take the Skyliner. Can you tell us where it is? And I thought, you know what? I'm not gonna wait for this boat either because the last one didn't pick me up. I'll go with you. And so we made our way to the Skyliner together and they were like, no, ride with us. And I was like, okay, great. And we had a fantastic conversation as we made our way over to Epcot's International Gateway. So yeah, that was weird. But anyway, now we're here at the boardwalk and we've got stuff to do. So let's talk about what that is as we make our way to the first stop. So of course it's August and that means spooky season has arrived here at Walt Disney World. And today, August 9th, Walt Disney World Resort hotels have released some spooky treats. And I want to try some of the new ones. And the first is right here at the boardwalk up in their coffee shop, Carousel Coffee. So let's go get it. Of course, I do need to add a little bit of a disclaimer here. I have looked at the Disney Parks blog, which is the official Walt Disney World blog. It's where they release information about what's coming to the parks. So I have an idea of where I'm headed and what I want to get, but just between you and me, Disney Parks blog is notorious for having bad information. In fact, when I was coming up with a game plan for how we were going to do today, I checked back to Disney Parks blog and the information had changed. So I'm hoping that we can find everything we're looking for today. Otherwise, we'll just be doing a lot of running around. So Carousel Coffee is located in the lobby of the boardwalk. It's right off the boardwalk itself, so it's easy to access if you're wandering around, but it's also in the middle of this resort. So no matter where you're staying or where your room is, you can get here pretty easily. As you can see, here's the front desk area, and if we turn this direction, which is toward the Disney Vacation Club Villas, just beyond this sign is Carousel Coffee. So let's pop in and see if we can find this Halloween treat. All right. We did it. We successfully found treat number one, the Halloween macarons here at Carousel Coffee. These are also available over at Le Petit Cafe at the Riviera. From what I saw, Of course, subject to change. It was $8.51 for 3 of these. Of course, we've got some very relaxing sounds happening over here. So just gonna have to bear with me because I need to taste these before we move on with our day. And it's super hot out, so I don't know how these are gonna manage, but I've got a plan. Anyway, let's start by taking a closer look. Now, I don't know what the flavors are of these offhand. It was mentioned on the Disney Parks blog, but I don't remember it. We're just gonna try them and see how it turns out. All right, let's give these a try. I'm starting with this one. I have no idea what that's supposed to taste like, but it's very good. We've got this next one, which is blue and it's got a little spider on it. Okay, so this one is definitely different, but I'm not getting any like distinct flavor from them. Maybe if I knew what they were, it would like click in my head. But this one definitely looks chocolatey on the inside. Let's see how it goes. That one is like pumpkin spice, very cinnamony. It tastes like fall. All of these are very good. The first two also delicious, but they didn't really stand out to me. That last one though, whew, I could eat like a bowl of those. But look, now's the part of our regularly scheduled program that you usually don't see, like the behind the scenes where I pull out a Tupperware. I've got a lot of treats that I want to try today, and there's no way I'm going to be able to polish them all off on my own. But just so that we're all on the same page, if Russ happens to ask, I'm doing all of this for him. Now our next treat, we don't have to go far for. It's over at the Boardwalk Deli. It's a mummy cupcake. This is another new treat for this year. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the macarons were new as well. I decided to put in a mobile order for this one just so I didn't have to wait in line or do anything like that. And it should be ready momentarily. So let's wander over there, pick it up, find a seat, and give it a try. Whew, I will tell you what, Boardwalk Deli was super crowded. Of course it is breakfast time, but it's just such a small location and it's too bad because they have some great options. Anyway, we got our cupcake and it's looking a little sad. So already not off to a great start. It's all broken. Look at it. That's very, very disappointing. I have some utensils, so I'm gonna see if I can fix it. I don't think it's gonna work. Oh no, Mickey, he's looking so sad. I'll show you what he looks like anyway, but don't hold your breath for this being anything really spectacular. I got his eyes back. Okay, we're doing our best over here. Now I recognize that when we eat these things, they're not cute anymore, but I think, you know, for nearly $7, it should come out looking cute. And what was that? Have aliens landed here? Sure sounds like it. For $7, I think it should come out looking cute. I also literally walked a very short distance before I sat down with you, so it's not like it was hanging out in the heat for any amount of time. It is like a super mess. Let me see. All right, we're gonna eat one of Mickey's eyes right now. Chocolate, super duper sweet. Now there's supposed to be some sort of like apple compote or something in here. I should look these things up. So this is a spiced vanilla cake with apple compote and milk chocolate mousse. Let's give it a little bite and see how it goes. We do have a lot of mousse here. Let's try that first. There's no way we're getting all of this in one bite.
Oh, yeah, she moved.
Chocolate mousse. Nothing really spectacular there. Also, I'm not really expecting much. Again, with those aliens, what's going on? Mainly because this is a cupcake, and cupcakes are like, they're all right, you know? Don't put knives in your mouth, kids. All right, let's see if I can get to the bottom here. See if I can get some of this spiced. Oh goodness. What a mess. Not looking good. If you could see what I see. Oof. Spice cake. This is my dad's favorite. See if I can get a little bit of that apple pie filling in there. Very good. Apple pie filling's almost frozen at the moment. This is just not a well executed cupcake in my opinion. I would have liked to see it put together a little bit better. It's so hard to eat. Cupcakes like this always are with that like dome of mousse on top, so you have to like mangle them in order to enjoy them. I just really would have liked if it hadn't been mangled already. All right, Mickey cupcake has been packed up and secured. again, we're doing this for Russ. And now it's time to make our way to our next set of resorts, because there are 2 treats that I want to try over in the Magic Kingdom area. Now, there are a few different ways that we can go about getting to Magic Kingdom. I could make my way back to Hollywood Studios and then drive, or I could take the bus from Boardwalk to Magic Kingdom. Yeah, right? Like, that's a better plan. Not only will it be faster, by the way, there's definitely some work happening over here, so we need to make our way inside so that we can go upstairs and ultimately catch the bus. But of all the parking lots at Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom is my least favorite. So if I can avoid having to go there, I'm gonna. Now, the bus here at Boardwalk isn't a really far walk. It is undercover, which is really nice, and it's only 1 stop. So we just pick up a bus and then go wherever it is that we're headed. We don't have to travel around the resort like at some other places that have multiple stops. Now, for those of you who are wondering, number 1, I don't mind the buses. I actually think that they are pretty great considering the size of this place. So I'm fine with buses, okay? I know that there are some bus haters out there. Also, it's about 9:38 right now. Yeah, we're doing this bright and early. Who doesn't love starting their day with sweets? Am I right? According to the sign, the next bus should be coming at 10:06. I'll let you know how we make out. Thank you. All right, we made it to Magic Kingdom, but we're not sticking around here. We're gonna catch the monorail over to the Polynesian. The original plan was the Contemporary, because they had a treat there that I wanted to try, but then the blog said it wasn't at the Contemporary, it was gonna be at Wilderness Lodge. So I checked Wilderness Lodge and it's not there. So we're not even gonna waste our time today. We're going straight to the Contemporary to get a vampire Stitch cake, which, I mean, come on, Stitch, Russ loves that. Vampires are like my favorite monster of all time. And cake, what else could you ask for? Also, for those of you who are wondering, the bus came about 10 minutes early. Not a big deal at all. But like I said, we're bypassing the park today. Also, today is the first day of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, so if you're headed out, have a great time. Make sure you get all the candy. We're making our way to the resort monorail, because like I said, we're headed to the Poly. Now, I know we talk about this a lot, but there was a time when we could have just walked to the Polynesian from here. That option will return once the Polynesian Tower is done. At the moment, there's some construction going on, and I think we can still make the walk. We have to cross the street. It's a lot of hullabaloo. I don't want to deal with it. So we take the monorail. There's the Poly Tower over there. A lot of people don't like it, but honestly, I don't think it's that big a deal. That's a conversation for another day, though. There are a lot of conversations that I want to have with you, like topics I want to cover, but for one reason or another, they just make their way down to the bottom of the list. The Polynesian Tower is one of them. We've been having a lot of Disney Vacation Club discussions, though, so, I mean, we got to talk about other things, too. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we're here at the Polynesian now, and we just got off the monorail. Our next stop was Kona Island. Now, if you're not familiar with this location, I wasn't familiar with the name of this place either. It's the little coffee bar here on the 2nd floor. So right here is where you access the monorail, and then Kona Cafe is that direction, and between the two is Kona Island. This is where they're supposed to have a super cute little vampire Stitch cake. That's what I wanted to get my hands on. They don't have it. What they do have is a little cake for Princess Week, but I'm not interested in that. It's spooky or nothing today. Now, when I saw that they didn't have this cake available, I did check the Disney Parks blog again, thinking that maybe I got some dates mixed up or something. Some of the offerings don't release until a little bit later, so, you know, maybe I just overlooked something. No, I didn't. All of these things are supposed to be available according to the official blog of Disney. Now, while I was trying to make sure that I didn't miss anything, I was combing through the rest of the article to see if there was anything else that I may have missed. And the other thing that I wanted to try, remember I said it was going to be at the Contemporary and then it was moved to Wilderness Lodge? They said that that's going to be available on mobile order, so I double checked to see if it was over there, and it's not. So I guess there are a few things that haven't quite released on schedule, which is kind of disappointing. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second, but the line has since fizzled out over at Kona Island, so I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna ask if they have this cake. I don't know, maybe they just don't have any out right now, maybe they're hiding them. Very unlikely, but it never hurts to ask, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, so I did go ask, and the cast member said that they won't have any Stitch cakes until after 11, but it also won't be the Halloween Stitch cake. It'll still be a Stitch cake. He'll just have a flower on his head instead of being dressed as a vampire, which I'm sure is super cute, but if it's not spooky, it's not for us today. So I guess it's time to make our way out. And the way that we're gonna do this today is not getting back on the monorail or doing our journey here in reverse, but we are going to make our way down to the bus and then take a bus over to Hollywood Studios. Because remember, that's where we parked our car. Also, as a little bit of a fun fact, as we're walking to the bus stop here, again, like the boardwalk, there's only one stop here at the Polynesian, although it is kind of out of the way, of course, depending on the room that you're staying in. But anyone can use Disney transportation. You don't have to be staying at the resort. You don't have to be staying on property. So it's a good thing to know how to navigate if you're here. That's actually another thing that couple I was hanging out with earlier asked me about. And yeah, you can go wander around any of the resorts. All right, there's our bus. Let's jump on and make our way back to Studios. All right, that was a kind of interesting ride on over. So currently it seems as though the Polynesian and Grand Floridian are sharing a bus, which quite frankly, I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes resorts share buses, but I mean, Grand Floridian being the second stop, it's one of the most expensive resorts at Walt Disney World, and having to share a bus, I don't know, just not a fan. Anyway, our adventure here today has come to a close. You know, I had so many things that I wanted to try with you, and the fact that we could only get our hands on 2 really kind of stinks, especially because all of these spooky items were supposed to be available starting today. And you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big a deal, at least not for me, but if you're one of the many who only has such a limited amount of time here, you've been keeping track of stuff like this so you can enjoy it, this can be a huge letdown. So I guess I say that partially as a gripe, but partially to help you set reasonable expectations, which isn't always easy. Before I actually call it good though, I had one of you comment on my keys. You heard the sound of my keys and you commented on how you recognize that sound because it's like so many things on a key ring. That's what my key ring looks like. Not many keys at all. I've got my house keys, and then I've got my Jeep key, and then a keychain, obviously. And then right here, it's probably the only excessive thing. This is a Magic Band puck holder. So no matter what, if I'm in my car, I can use this to get into the parks. I find it a little bit easier than using the card, but that's just my personal preference. Anyway, it's not a really crazy key situation. Oh, and then there's this thing. Occupational hazard of carrying you around. You know, sometimes your face needs to be wiped up, so I have a microfiber cloth on my keychain at all times. But yes, I think that's the end of our journey today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you had fun, even though we didn't get to try as many things as I wanted to. We'll be back though. I mean, spooky season has only just begun. Of course, if there's anything that you want us to try that might be somewhere else, tell us about it in a comment down below. Also, let us know what about spooky season you're super excited for. But like I said, I'm off. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye.